Right, welcome to another Honda CB200 video, and in this one, well, there's a bit of a bad news. The old song "There's a Hole in My Bucket" comes to mind, in that there is a hole in the petrol tank, and I filmed it from the start, from the discovery of the hole, the processing, to where we are right now. But in this video I'm going to concentrate on something more positive, and before I discovered the hole in the tank, I had in fact started the rebuilding process. So I've reassembled the rear brake unit, and I've reassembled the rear wheel after having the new tyre fitted to it, and I think they're looking really nice. So try and keep this one a bit more happy, so we're going to focus on that, and I will bring you an update on the progress of the tank issue in a future video, maybe next week or in the next couple of weeks. I'll give you an update or introduce you to what's happened and what the issues are. So yeah, let's watch the assembly of the rear brake unit, which is fairly basic, but it's good to have it on record if you're unfamiliar with reassembling the rear brake and reassembling the rear wheel, the sprocket and the chain guard that goes on that. So yeah, we'll pop to that, and yeah, hope you enjoy them, and please thumbs up if you're liking the videos, hit the subscribe button for future updates and progress, and of course leave your comments below. I always try to, well, I always read them, and I do try and reply as best I can. So yeah, off to some more fun stuff, and we'll look at this later. Bye bye for now. I've cleaned this all up and I've given it a nice buff and a polish, etc. And I've got all the parts ready to go. So let's crack on. So the first bits we've got are the actuation pin. We've then got a nylon washer. We've then got a gauge washer. We'll explore that in a moment. Felt washer. Here's the part number. If it's unclear in the video, I will put it in the description. We've then got springs for the brake pads, and the old brake pads are perfectly serviceable, so I will be fixing those back in. So the first thing to do is to assemble this end. Now on this pin I'll be using some copper grease just to whack in there, give it some lubrication within the housing. So just a nice layer. Not too much, don't want it leaking out anywhere. On that pin. There we are. So that goes in there. Turn it back over. So the next thing then is the felt washer. So that goes on in there. Then the nylon washer. And then this pin. Now this washer has only one way it fits on. So we need to make sure that we've got everything fitted in the right way. And the idea with this is that as you get closer to the wear limit of the brake pads, this arrow lines up with a notch in the aluminium body. Let's see if I can get you to see that a bit clearer. So just in there. So as the arrow gets closer to that pin, you know that you're getting to the wear limit of your of the brake pads. So with that assembled, we then want the lever arm on. So that goes on like so, in through washer, and I'm using a nylon lock nut on there. So I'm just checking that actually I've got some thread coming through on this side to actually engage that locking nut, and I have. So, and there you go, there's the arrow that would line up with that little notch on the body there. So we then turn it over. And it springs, washer and that. So brake pads. Now, as before, I only put a very small amount of copper grease. I do mean just the smallest amount. Just in there. And in there. And on that face. And that face. And that's it, no more copper grease anywhere else. Okay. That side on, that side in. Washer on and pin through. Okay, and there we are. So as one activates the brake, we then get movement there. Okay, so this is for the stabilizer on the rod. It goes onto the wishbone, and then this is the actual activation arm, which we'll put the pin into that when we attach the rod, etc. So that is the rear brake unit assembled. I'm going to wrap that up quickly. And it is sprocket time. So I had a brand new tyre put on this. This is a Dunlop K82. The rear tyre is a 3x18, and I thought this looked like quite a nice tyre. And yeah, so that's looking really quite smart. I'll do a sort of a pan view later on. So we're going to be fitting a sprocket into there. Let's move you. And I was doing a video looking at cleaning up the old chain, and through that process did a really good inspection of the chain and noticed a crack in the chain link. And so though the rear sprocket and the front sprocket are in fairly good, in fact, arguably very good condition, I need to replace the chain. And so when you replace the chain, it's always good practice to replace the front and rear sprocket. So I've got a new front and rear sprocket. So we've got a new sprocket to fit on this. Let's open that. So it's a 279 by 35. So 279 I think is the width, I believe, and then 35 is the number of teeth, I believe. Yeah, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So that's going to go nicely on there, but we need some other bits and bobs to go with that. Put them down here. So as you've heard me speak about in previous videos, I was going to look at replacing I was looking at replacing the cush drive in this, and that's these bits here, but the actual hub is just over 50% through its wear limit, so I don't think it's worth doing that, whereas the hub off the spare bike is, apart from being grubby and dirty, is absolutely spankingly good. So my thoughts are to actually replace the cush drive in that one when I strip the wheel, because the rest of the wheel is looking knackered. So we've potentially got a future build of a wheel, which I've never done before. So let's get the pins in place for this. So again, I'm going to use some copper grease on this, and these all sit in here with the sprocket on like so, but we need to make sure that the tabs on the other side of this are all engaging with this metal piece in here, like that. So we need to make sure that they're all that way orientated. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Then turn it over, and oh, let's put that back down again. So these are the locking tabs. So I generally, before we get going, give them ever so slight bend up. So ever so slight bend on them, just to make it easier when it comes to actually pulling them up when we've got it all in place. So that's one done. And it's not a huge bend, just a little bend, just so we get screwdriver pliers, etc. on it. So one at a time. That goes on like so. That on. And these have come out beautifully using the vinegar process to remove the rust off them. They weren't terrible, but they were reasonably bad enough for me to spend some time on them. There's that, and that. So right, so making sure that they're seated nicely in there, and I'll just get the spanner. Right, let's get the sprocket fitted. So we've got the studs in there, and I've already greased them up a bit with copper grease, etc. So they're in there, and we then get sprocket. Actually, it might even be easier to have these taken out slightly and do them. So, the sprocket side cover and the clips, and I've already bent these up slightly. Sprocket. That goes in like that. from me. Okay. Sprocket cover. Clips. Okay, so just making sure that those are engaging properly on this side here, so I need to make sure they're in this trough and engaging with that piece on the side there. That one's in. Okay. Just whacking some copper grease on these studs. So I've had a good look, and I cannot find anywhere a torque setting for this, for these. So I'm just going to do them up nice and tight, nice and secure. Not worried too much about them coming undone because they've got the clips are going to be on them. Just making sure that's secured down. And then okay. And then there we go. All done. The last job is just to lift up the tabs. So that's it. I generally just put one up because if this one was to break, then I've got the other one that I can go to lock up that nut on there. But in essence, that's the wheel, the sprocket on with the sprocket guard. Nice and simple. It's pretty darn good, I think. So there's the CB200 sprocket and rear brake unit. Look, all done and rebuilt. So thumbs up if you like it. Hit the subscribe button and notifications. Do feel free to leave your comments below. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. Cheers. Bye for now.